Over 400,000 businesses have now signed up for the government's JobKeeper scheme, with the Australian Tax Office extending the time frame for registrations to the end of the month. Concerns are now being raised over, of course, exploitation of the scheme, as both employers and employees attempt to claim more than they are entitled to. Surprise, surprise. Peter Strong, the CEO of the Council of Small Business of Australia, joins me now via Skype. Peter, how are you?
I'm very good.
Oh, you got the dog barking there. Fantastic. What sort of dog have you got?
I've got a cavoodle.
A cavoodle. It doesn't get any better. Peter, there has been claims that some employees are refusing to work or requesting fewer hours and yet still claiming the $1,500 JobKeeper payments. What's happening?
Well, that's right. Well, there's some employees who might only work 1 day a week and they're getting the full amount, and that's one of the quirky things about it. But they're then saying to their employers, I don't want to work, I'm not coming to work, I think it's unsafe. They're using the safety issue and they're just refusing to come. Now, the good employers among us, because it's mainly young people. Well, not all young people, but mainly young people. And I get it. When I was 17, if someone gave me that amount of money, I think it was great. But so a lot of employers are saying, look, if you don't come, then I'll have to dismiss you. I can give you instructions and you have to come. Now, if they say it's unsafe and the employer has to make it safe and they are making the workplace safe, they've got to go to work. And what we're saying to them is staying at home, doing nothing, you can't go to the beach, you can't go to the pub, etc. It's not good for you anyway. You really need to stop and think about what you're going to do with your time, and we can't make you do anything bar that 1 day a week when you used to work, but at least we're going to ask you to do that, and it's good for you to do that. And at the end of this time, when I'm looking to keep people on, I'll be keeping you on. But if you think you're going to sit at home for the next few months and do nothing, when I reopen the business and when JobKeeper's taken away from us, I don't think I'll be putting you on.
Well, exactly. Well, we've had emails from viewers who are saying that these rorts are occurring. They know cases where it's happening. We keep hearing this term unprecedented. We're in uncharted waters and all the rest of it, Peter. But it seems to me we're in this bizarre world where the government is kind of reverse engineering capitalism. It's saying, here, you can go and have the money even if you're not working. You get the money if you're going backwards. Now, I understand the reasons for it, but how damaging in the long run is this to the whole ethos of small businesses?
Well, it will be damaging if the unions keep saying to their workers, you can go home and do nothing, which is quite a wrong thing to say. It sends the very wrong message, and it says that the unions don't value the health of the worker. So the unions have got to come along and say, look, work with your employer, work with them. This is about all of us, and we've got to work together to make sure when we get through this, the small business can reopen or get the customers back in or whatever, and you'll have a job. That's what this is all about, and that's what JobKeeper is about. They designed it, as you know, so quickly that it's full of quirks, and it's up to the rest of us now to work with those quirks and make sure that we can do what the government wants us to do, which is keep in contact with our employees and keep the employees in contact with us and do it as best we can. And there's lots of examples of that happening out there. So these people that are refusing to work, there are some employers I've heard of who are doing the wrong thing as well. Every group's got them, as you know.
Of course.
And so we're working with the regulator, with the Fair Work Ombudsman to say, right, we want to work with you to make sure that these things get caught very quickly. We're working with the tax office to make sure they do the same thing as well. And we're working with our employees saying, look, let's work together. The people, the employees that are bending over backwards for the employer, they will get the reward of this. They absolutely will.
Peter, I guess, as you said, it was all done in a mad rush, and I understand that. The nation was panicking, the world was panicking over the coronavirus. It now appears, touch wood, et cetera, and who knows what lies ahead, but it now appears that perhaps there was an overreach there. I guess my concern with JobKeeper is here we are, on the one hand, incentivising, as you've explained, people to not necessarily work. It's almost like the bureaucrats, Treasury or someone has got in the Treasurer's ear and said, look, the way to solve this is, it's the bureaucrats' answer that giving money away. Sure, it's not as bad as the Kevin Rudd giving money to dead people and all the rest of it, but you're still giving some people more, for example, than that they would have earned otherwise. So that has to come out of someone's pocket eventually. I guess my concern, Peter, shouldn't we really be looking at how to allow all small businesses in particular to open tomorrow, so long as they maintain and can maintain the hygiene, the safety, social distancing, etc.? Surely that should be the focus.
Well, that is. We've like a lot of associations, we've held meetings of our members saying, right, how do we do this? We've got to get ready to open up as soon as possible. How do we do this so that it's done effectively, it's done legally? And that's the ridiculous nature of our workplace relations system. Is so complicated. So that if I've got a little cafe and I've normally employed 6 people, I'm going to open that up, and I don't know how many customers I'm going to have, as you say, with the distancing issues. So I'm going to put 3 staff on. Now, which 3 of those staff I'll put on is going to be up to me as the employer, as it always is. And hopefully I can get enough business I can put the others back on. But that's what we're going to do, and that means we're going to do it. There will be an increase in what I call proper unemployment. At the moment, we have displaced people.
Yep.
But once the economy opens up again, then we can call them unemployed, because they will be in true economic sense. And we can look at our retraining programs, we can look at job creation, we can look at infrastructure development, those classic activities that have proven to work over the millennia when you come to these sort of situations. Get back to that. And the other thing we really want is empowering local business communities to have a greater say over this. People at the local level know about their community, they know about their customers, they know about their employees, and they'll be able to work out how to come out of this that suits Lithgow or suits Geelong or suits Dandenong or whatever. We need to empower local business communities a lot more than we've done in the past.
Absolutely. And Peter, I think we've seen with the whole climate change agenda, the kind of idea of net zero, which Labor were flirting with, aren't we finding too much regulation, too much red tape, too much green tape, which a small business person who wants to just get out, have a go, set up a gallery, a cafe, a shop, whatever it might be, is just strangled in this stuff. And they're really... All the effort of government is pushing against them rather than pushing for them, it seems.
Well, this is, and workplace relations in particular, we like to look after our employees. As I say, the great 90% of businesses and the workplace relations laws makes it really difficult for the employee,
exactly,
not only the employer.
Absolutely.
We want to be able to move quickly. What's the word we're all using now? Pivot. We've got to pivot. And to do that, you need to make sure the regulations aren't going to be an issue that gets us into trouble. It's got to be something that is easy to work with. And what we're hearing from a lot of employers at the moment is that they're afraid. They're afraid of what will happen at the end of this. Will the unions and some lawyers from industrial relations start chasing them for back pay and start chasing them for unfair dismissal?
Of course they will, Peter. And despite the Prime Minister's kind of fantasy that there are no unions out there, you bet they're out there and you bet they will. I'm sorry to end on a negative note, Peter, but thanks so much for coming on. And I love the fact that you are urging people to get out there and get behind our small businesses. So thank you so much, Peter. Strong.
Thank you.